this. It's the 3rd of November, and we have a lot to talk about today. A very, very interesting day, and some really interesting things are happening in the market. So first of all, I look at XIV. This is the ninth straight day down, and for the stock market, 8 straight days down, and that happened 4 times in the last 40 years. If the market's down tomorrow, it'll be the first time we've had a streak of 10 days down since 1980, and that was coming to the end of the bear market of the 70s. And so, what's interesting though is that the VIX, which is where XIV is part of, is up 65% in the last month, and the market's down 2%. And so that really presents an opportunity, is that people are way overinsured, and there's probably a lot of good reasons why, because there's all these algo traders now, all these quant traders, they load up on the VIX, they keep their positions. So I'm looking for a pretty incredible snapback in XIV and a drop in the VIX here, regardless of what happens in the election. You know, as I said before, I don't know if I said it here, but I say it to anybody who asked me, is that, you know, it fixes like insurance, but it really has a time limit. It's like adrenaline. And, you know, people will hold it until they either dispose of their securities or the risk has passed. And that's coming up Tuesday. And you know, if you think about it, let's say you've gotten this thing right and you're long the VIX and you're really proud of yourself, and, you know, VIX is a leveraged instrument. Are you going to really wait till Wednesday morning to make sure that Hillary did indeed win the election? I don't think so. And so, you know, Tuesday night is when it's going to absolutely implode if it's still up at these levels, and I think that will cause a great panic. So my view is we'll see if we're right. We'll talk about it on Wednesday. Is that you're going to start people starting to take off these hedges and either close positions or just book profit and hang on. And there was another study out, wish I could put these things up easy enough, but that said election minus 3 days is the peak in volatility at tied today. So, you know, if you're a probabilities person and you're not thinking black swan, is a good place to take a shot. You know, I bought UVXY puts, and I bought 16s today, early in the day, before the last sell-off, so it's not like I was prescient on those. But I really don't care. In the next 2 weeks, by the end of, I would say, the 15th of November, there's a very good chance that UVXY is probably around $12 or $13. And so, you know, I'll buy them. If I'm wrong next week, I'll buy them again for the next week. And if I'm wrong again, I'll buy them again, because it just doesn't keep up like this. So it's a good chance for a good trade. And the other thing too is that the VIX has gone up faster and higher than ever before. And so there's just a lot of things that are just really pushing on this thing pretty hard. And so I'm pretty confident that we're gonna get a reversal in this very, very soon. And, you know, it's just, you know, it's just with these algorithmic trading, they push people and people are puking it up today. So that was the interesting thing to me. So I'm starting to see those people, are the fear, and people are really starting to freak out. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get it. And so if we move on to SPY, now just don't get me wrong though, I am, for 2017, if you see my other videos, I am extremely bearish. I think the Keynesians and the progressives really screwed the pooch here. So, you know, they crowded everybody into a healthcare tax that have left no discretionary income. The Fed has lowered interest rates to such a point where everybody went into real estate and is driving rents up, and there's just simply no money left for people. So, you know, between taxes, healthcare, rent, there's no discretionary income. And, you know, 70% of the economy is service. And if you're not in the healthcare business, you know, you're talking 30% of the economy at great risk of unemployment, because you're not going to do anything else if you have to all you have money for, and that makes people in a very, very, very surly mood. And it's mostly, you know, what I would call the soccer moms, you know, that can't take their kid to camp, and they can't, you know, go on vacation, and they can't go out to eat. They can't get the massage. They can't get their nails done. The guy can't go play golf. It's not a sexist thing. I mean, guys spend money stupidly, and so all that discretionary income's gone. Hey, you're not going to sports bar. So people aren't going to be really happy sitting at home and looking at the 100 families around the country that have screwed them. And so, if the elites are listening to this, which who knows if they are or not, your own self-preservation is at risk at this point because people will not be happy, and they're going to come after you. And you know what? And you have all the wealth, so you have the most to lose. So, just bear that in mind. This is not fun. This is not a Republican thing or a Democrat thing. This is really, we're at a point now where these people are driving people into feudalism, and it just makes me just so livid that we allowed these people to lie to us, and we just gave them control of a car, and we're going right over the cliff. But now looking at SPY, okay, SPY hit the bottom thing here. Sorry for the rant. I'm just really upset about this. And so it hit the bottom of the channel. I think this channel holds for now. I think it bounces up to here, and I think we go back down. I think we go back to 200, and we're going to go back. We're going to retrace the last couple of years by the time this thing's all over. And so that's what thing on SPY. And I had another point on that. Lost my train of thought. So I'll move on and I'll come back to it. But this is where I am going to be spending my resources getting right. Is getting the real estate market is gonna have a lot of trouble. So we're short already. We're in the money. I already rolled my puts down from 74 to 73. Yesterday I took off half my 72 short put, and I'm gonna hold that for now. And I'm just gonna keep rolling it. It looks like we get a buy signal here. Tomorrow, if we get a couple days of a rally or a rally in the next week, I'll take the trade off and I'll reload again when it gets overbought again. But make no mistake, I'll show you this on a monthly. This will blow you away. How much money you can make when we go into this liquidation that we're going to go into. Even if the Fed doesn't raise rates, between Amazon and healthcare and a poor economy, who's going to be buying commercial real estate? And those cap rates are collapsing, and people aren't going to invest in it, and real estate prices have to come down a lot to interest people to take that risk. But look at IYR at the peak in 07 down to here. We're looking at, this is a 600% return for people if you do the reverse and you just look at REC. And right now we're peaking. If we break here and we put in that lower low at 66, then I think we're just going to cascade down. And so that's what we're playing for, and we think it's going to be the best trade going into next year, and I just wanted to share that with you. Now looking at gold, gold kind of has me bothered a little bit because, I was convinced earlier in the year that we were going to get an inflation trade here, and we very well might. It's still in this channel. It's coming up from here. Had a good day today, so it's a risk on thing. But what worries me is that a little bit of a shoulder here, a little bit ahead here. Maybe we're forming another shoulder here. 120 to 135. We're looking back down to, back to the January, February lows, and I have to be open to that fact. I can't be so biased that I think gold's going to run in time of fear. But if we deflate and we have a liquidation deflation like we did in 7 to 9 and 90, 2000 to 2002, I think it's going to affect gold negatively. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to get gold back down to retrace this whole move in 2016. So I got to be worried about it. That's why I didn't buy back in. I sold out my my miners, and it was my biggest position, and I was on board. I'm gonna hold it forever. No, am I locked up here? Here we go. No reason why I'm just gonna sell calls against it, but it looked like it topped here, and it's really struggling to go. It's not following gold, and so I gotta be a little worried that we didn't have a little bit of a shoulder forming here, and have this thing drop back down to 15 or at least to 18 area. and I'm not going to absorb that kind of loss on the size that I have. So I'm out. I'll just sit on it, and I'm just going to focus elsewhere for right now until somebody shows me that they're gonna get inflationary, and I don't think they will. The other long trade that I'm very excited about, it's just been working out beautifully. And if you go out to my our Twitter or go to our Facebook page, I talk about this a lot. Is that you have Brazil's in deep weeds from a climate standpoint. It's like almost their May now in Brazil, and southern Brazil just got frost again. And this all these global warming knuckleheads. It's warm in Washington D.C., so therefore we have global warming. I don't think they understand at all how global warming, global cooling really work. I don't have time to explain it to them here, but leave it to me to tell you that there's problems. All of Siberia, all of Russia right now are snow covered. Snow covered. The whole northern half of the continent is under snow, which is amazing. It's like the whole polar ice cap and vortex just moved over Russia. Well, that's going to circle back around to us too. And that'll support natural gas a little bit later this month. And it's causing the tropics are having disturbances in the tropics because as this air gets pushed around, it changes things, and the jet streams get really erratic, and so it's causing a lot of problems in the tropics and the subtropic areas, and Brazil's is been affected by it a great deal. So orange juice is already through the roof. Coffee's going to double. I've said it. Coffee's going to double from here. So, at some point we're going to watch Starbucks as a chance to a nice short because people won't be able to afford the coffee because of the economy, and they're not going to be able to afford it because it's going to go up in price again. And so they're going to lose business, and they're a growth story, and it's going to affect them. So just keep an eye on that. I'm still a fan of the ags, in terms of the grains, and this is setting up for another move higher. And it looks like it's tracing out to me, an inverted head and shoulders, a little bit on an angle. And once it breaks back over, the 30 area here and gets back up over that VWAP, I think we're making a run to the highs again. La Nina is still on track. It's coming. It's there, and it's moving forward. It's not getting weaker. So those are some of the things I want to talk about today, and just encourage you to be careful. We're going to get a bounce here. So, I'm talking strategically. We're going to get a bounce here. In fact, we're going to probably get 3 bounces before the end of the year. We're going to get a bounce off this election. Then we're going to get a bounce off the Fed not doing anything, which I have a bet on with somebody. And then we're going to get a Christmas bounce. And then then 2017 is going to set in, and I think people are going to be in a pretty dour mode. And I think people are going to be liquidating. Anyways, Bob from Trade Genius. Please follow us. Go out to our Facebook page. Enjoy the stuff. I can post so many more things out there. Like us. Come back to our website. Subscribe if you want to get in on these trades. We're having a great month. We're picking some good stuff. And in fact, today we went long at the end of the day. We went long XIV for a swing trade. So that's it, and have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.